Anonymous Watch Guy here with an unboxing and overview video. Quick wrist check. Wearing the Moonswatch Mission to Jupiter Awesome Watch. Today, of course, I have here in front of me the latest Swatch collab, the Blancpain Swatch Bioceramic Scuba 50 Fathoms. I've got my hands on the Atlantic Ocean. Of course, there is one for each of the 5 oceans of the world. On the side of the box here, of course, you've got your Blancpain Swatch. On the front, the Atlantic Ocean's 20% of the Earth. It's the youngest ocean. It's also the saltiest ocean. On your inner part of the box, it's the same as that outer sleeve. And then we're going to open the box, and on the inside, we've got, of course, your Blancpain Swatch book here that also has information about each one of the oceans in here, which is really cool. And then, of course, we've also got the warranty card dated September 9th. This one was purchased at the Times Square store in New York. I purchased it from a trusted seller on Facebook. I did pay more than full retail for this watch, of course. Supply and demand. You've got low supply, high demand. It comes in this really nice kind of color match travel pod. This feels very premium. Obviously, this is a step up from the Moonswatch packaging. It is branded Blancpain and Swatch. And then, of course, on the inside, we have what we've all been waiting for, the Scuba 50 Fathoms. And again, this is the Atlantic Ocean version. And this watch is really quite something to look at. I think it's very attractive in person. I think this feels, it's very lightweight. Obviously, it's the same case material as the Moonswatch, so it's going to feel very similar. But in many ways, I think this is a more premium watch than the Moonswatch. I know there's a lot of haters out there for this watch, but I think it's an absolute home run for Swatch. I think it was a fantastic idea, and I love the watch, and we'll talk about why. But let's look at the specs on the watch. It is a 42.3 millimeter watch, so it's a little bit smaller than an actual 50 fathoms. Most 50 fathoms are 45 millimeters. I measured the lug width at 21. Or actually 20.8 is what I came up with, so it would be kind of an odd 21 millimeter lug opening. It is 14.4 millimeters thick, and I did not measure if that included this NATO or not, but 14.4 millimeters. In fact, I will go ahead and check it with the caliper right here and see. I will count part of the bottom of the NATO. Now, so that's without the NATO, because just with this one part of the NATO under here, I came up with 15.7 millimeters. So it is a little bit of a chunky fellow. It does have kind of a belly on it under here, and that crystal does come up with almost like a little bit of a boxed crystal, so that accounts for some additional thickness. It is 48 millimeters lug tip to lug tip. You do look, it does look almost like drilled lugs. I don't know if they operate like drilled lugs or not, but this is probably the strap you're going to want to keep it on. It is a push-pull crown with the Blancpain Swatch branding there. It does give you 91 meters or 300 feet water resistance, which also comes out to 50 fathoms. I think that's really cool that they did that with the water resistance. It is what they call a, biosourced material with anti-scratch coating. That's what they call the glass, a biosourced material with anti-scratch coating. So it is some sort of glass. I don't believe that it's plastic. It does have a bit of a boxed look to it. I think it looks really nice. Gives you a nice shot of that fume style dial there. Kind of a lighter blue in the center of the dial. fading to a darker blue towards the outside of the dial. The bezel also has a bioceramic material insert, and it is also covered with some sort of anti-scratch coating, according to Swatch. So this should be scratch resistant or fairly scratch resistant. This bezel does rotate. It is a unidirectional bezel, and the bezel action is pretty good. It sounds pretty good. There's no play in it at all, and it lines up. So I think that's pretty cool. This, of course, is running the System 51 automatic movement. So the System 51 is a automatic movement. It is made up of 51 parts, including one central screw. It has 90 hours of power reserve, and it also has a fully anti-magnetic Nivacron balance spring. That's right, this watch has the same balance spring that you would find in an ETA Powermatic 80 movement. So this System 51 movement, there's been a lot of talk about, oh, it's not serviceable, oh, it's terrible that they would put this in the watch. Maybe it's not serviceable, but neither is a Powermatic 80, a lot of people say, because, again, it does have that Nivacron balance spring. But one thing, and we'll talk about it when we flip this over, you can remove the back of this watch, so if you wanted to put a different movement in here, or if this movement went bad, you can replace the movement on this watch. So there is that. But I think 90 hours power reserve is pretty awesome for a watch at regular retail price, $400 US. You do have applied indices on this. These are applied. You have your Arabics, the 12, 3, 6, and 9, just like a modern Blancpain 50 Fathoms. This does have grade A Swiss Super Luminova. We will check out the Lume on it. You do have your Blancpain Swatch branding there beneath the 12 o'clock position. Scuba 50 Fathoms above the 6. And then your water resistance there also above the 6, Swiss made. And then your date window on this one is between the 4 and 5 o'clock position. Some of these are no date. This is a date version. And of course, the case is all this blue bioceramic material. So of course, that is plastic. And then on the side of the case here, you have your swatch. Just like the regular 50 Fathoms that is branded Blancpain on the side of the case. This one is branded Swatch on the side of the case. So that is just like the regular 50 Fathoms. I will say the strap on this watch feels much, much better than the strap on the moonswatch. This is a very pliable, very soft feeling nylon style strap. These straps are made from recycled fishing nets. So they come from the ocean. That's really cool as well. All the hardware on here is bioceramic as well. And then the buckle is signed here 50 Fathoms, which I think is really awesome as well. Let's get a look at the case back if we can, if I can figure out how to do that. We'll try to get a look at the case back here, so give me just 1 second. I'm going to pause the video and we'll see if we can't do that. All right, so a little finagling of the strap here. We got a look at the case back. This case back is nicely decorated. In my opinion, the movement is nicely decorated. On the back of this is also due to this NATO strap, the back crystal is sapphire. You do get a sapphire crystal on the back here so it doesn't scratch. And again, like I said, this case back can come off. So if the movement ever goes to crap, you can put a new movement in this watch. People say, oh, this watch isn't serviceable, it's a piece of junk. Well, maybe you can't repair the movement, but if the movement goes bad, you can replace the movement. So you've got it almost looks like a clear rotor on the back here, that a transparent rotor that has the Scuba 50 Fathoms Atlantic Ocean on it, as well as your Nuda branch, or I don't know if that's how you pronounce it, but basically it's a sea slug. Each one of these different oceans has its own sea slug here on the back, which is kind of cool. And you've got a really nicely decorated plates on this movement. And I think it looks really good. I think it's a really cool looking movement. I think Swatch did a great job with it. I think it just, kind of sets off another little touch with the watch. But a very nice looking watch. The strap is really a step up from the moonswatch. I think the overall feel of the watch, again, it is plastic. It's going to feel lightweight. It does not feel cheap. I think it's a really nice looking watch. If you're a fan of the 50 Fathoms and the look of the 50 Fathoms, I think you're going to absolutely love this watch. Again, if you can find one close to retail, I think it's a decent value. I understand not paying way over retail. I paid $675 for this watch because I wanted it. I wanted the watch. I think it's an awesome release, and it's probably going to stay in my collection. So a really cool watch, very nicely done. I think it looks really, really good. If you're a fan of the Blancpain 50 Fathoms look, you're going to really like this watch. I recommend picking one up, especially if you can get one in a Swatch store at some point for around full retail price. I think it's a bargain at that price. I think you can't beat it. I really do. So we're going to take a look at the Lume on this watch, and then we're going to take a look and see what it looks like on my 7.5-inch wrist. So here is the Lume on the watch, and as you can see, it is very well done. You can see that grade A Swiss Super Luminova glowing very nicely. The bezel is lumed. The handset glows brightly. All the indices and Arabics look great. The end of the seconds hand is lumed there as well. The Lume is fantastic. Great job, Swatch. Definitely very well done. Here's the watch on my 7.5-inch wrist. You can see it wears very nicely. The strap looks really good. The strap is really comfortable. The strap is really long. I will say that may be a downside. Definitely plenty of extra strap there. Very long strap, but this strap is definitely superior in every way to the strap that's on the moonswatch. Looks really good on wrist. Again, at 42 by 48, much more wearable than a standard Blancpain 50 Fathoms. Looks great on wrist. Love the colors. Love that blue fume dial. That darker blue bezel with the lighter blue case. There's your down the barrel shot. I just think this watch is a home run. I love it. I think the haters can go jump off a cliff somewhere that really have a lot of animosity towards this watch. I don't understand it. I think it's a great release for Blancpain and Swatch. The Scuba 50 Fathoms. It's awesome. Go buy one. If you like the video, give me a like. Maybe subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching.